Alright guys, let's talk about everything you need to know about Shyvana. We're going to talk about abilities, we're going to talk about builds, we're going to talk about champion identity, how we play into other champions. While we're playing, I'm going to be narrating and talking about all these things and showing you guys how to apply them live in-game right here. First things first, what does Shyvana want? Shyvana wants to farm. And she needs to farm. She literally gets bonus armor and MR from killing camps. So if you are doing anything that other than farming as your main priority, you're fucking up on Shyvana. Second thing, Shyvana does not want to fight without ultimate. If you fight without R, you are screwing yourself. You're probably going to lose the game. So you don't fight early game, and when you have your ultimate and you use it and you get a kill, you don't keep fighting. You stop fighting after you use your ultimate. And the third and final and last thing is you always need to understand how to kite, position, and use the movement. Okay, I know that Shyvana can be a pretty straightforward champion. Just click on the right-click stat check in a way. But if you really want to take Shyvana to the next level, you need to have good movement. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's talk about Shyvana's abilities real quick. Okay, so Shyvana gets 2 resets on her Q. And she does auto Q, auto Q. That's all you need to know. Auto Q, there's some AoE, it's a lot of damage. Okay, her W is a nice little shield that blows up at the end and deals some damage. The shield is just a nice quality of life thing to have, and it kind of just makes Shyvana a bit tankier. And her E is a slow, and it's like a projectile that deals damage. Like, cool. Her kits is completely reliant on her Q. So make sure you're autoing people and you're doing the right thing by autoing them, and you're spacing them well. Now your ulti, whenever you hit anybody, you fear them, and it's a pretty big range. It can go over walls. It's a big dash, and the big thing is when you use your ulti, you need to be really intentional about how you're using it. I'll show you guys later what I mean by being very intentional with your ulti. But your ulti is really strong because it enhances your W, just makes you deal more damage, heal some more HP. Your E is like a bit stronger as well. Same amount of slow, but a little more damage. And then your Q is the big thing. Instead of getting 2 Qs, you get 3 Qs. So auto Q, auto Q, auto Q. And that last Q right there, that one is explosive. That one does true damage, and it really hurts. That's where a lot of your damage comes from. Okay, so that's Shyvana's kit in a nutshell. Like I mentioned earlier, your passive gives you armor and MR. We know her identity. We know her abilities. We know how she kind of wants to play. Now let's talk about her builds. Okay, so a lot of you guys are seeing a Triforce build and a Kraken Slayer build. So it's Triforce into, like, standard is Triforce into, like, Shojin, and, like, kind of tanky. You go for, like Bruiser style Shyvana. And then there's, like, a Kraken Slayer Dusk and Dawn build. I would say choose one. Don't try to build both. I'm going to show you guys the Trinity Force build this game because it's better, but in general, depending on how you like to play, choose between the two. I'm going to explain them real quick. Bruiser is generally more consistent because you just have more HP, you can just play the game a little more fluidly, and your damage is not reliant on great movement, which is why Bruiser for lower elo players who don't really control their character well is generally going to be better. Now, the one thing that makes the Kraken Slayer Dusk and Dawn build really strong is it has some AP in it, but the main thing about that build is it's just a bit more damage. You just hurt people faster, you do your combo faster, you deal more damage, and so if you're going for like a squishier build but higher damage, you're still gonna be tanky. But if you're going for a squishier build, high damage, then go for the Kraken Slayer one. I'm gonna show you guys a Triforce one. I'm gonna explain like why this is so strong, how it works, what's gonna like make this powerful as we go. You guys saw me recall in base. Do not buy the Sheen. It is not worth it. You want the actual stats. Shyvana is not a champion that can proc Sheen extremely easily in the early game. You need points into your Q, so your Q refreshes the cooldown faster. What you want is raw stats, and super important to not mess that up. Okay, I'm gonna look to maybe gank mid here again. I just have no camp, so like why not? Like, oh, that's why not. Okay. Well, it was an angle. It's like, it's completely reliant on what my mid laner does. And because my mid laner fucked that up, I don't get to control the bot side crap. Which really blows. Because now my game can get exploded. What I mean by that is if the Talon wants to try to invade me after the crab, I'm cooked. But he shouldn't be able to, because I have my Krugs to clear first. So now that we have, Shyvana's identity, her build path, and her skills, what are we looking to do as we play? So in this game, we have a top laner who's losing, and a mid laner who's like farming pretty far behind, and an ADC who's farming pretty far behind. So this is one of those games that's not easy. Very, 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 very hard game. And what we're trying to do is, first things first, we need to be safe here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to wait for the enemies to make mistakes. So while we farm, while we generate an advantage for ourselves, I would just maintain a lead in terms of gold for ourselves. We wait for the enemies to do something dumb. Shyvana is a champion that you can't really hard force a lot of plays. There are some champions that can go really deep and control the game that way, and like make the fights happen in a very, very, very aggressive way. Shyvana's not like that. Shyvana's all about controlling the pace of the game, using your farm and tempo advantage and lead. So if you're not good at farming, if you're not good at reading the map, this champion is going to be harder and harder and harder. The real reason why these champions are so strong, though, is because as long as you're good at reading a map and reading the game and like good game knowledge, like you don't need crazy mechanics. I know I mentioned mechanics are helpful and good. It's not a make or break. Like you'll still be fine. Okay, so this enemy top laner is going to recall here. We'll take this Grump. I probably want to recall and just buy the Phage. I might need to stay here though. Yeah. Now, Camille use Ignite. This guy hits Flash. I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. I missed that. I'm gonna be so sad. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. I like the Callista ping that Camille used Ignites, and I was like, man, my top laner's been killed 3 times. The guy probably doesn't have Flash, right? And he does. And that's gonna bite me in the ass, because that's a law of gold here. And that concerns me, like, can I carry this game? I think we'll be fine. We'll be okay. We know Camille has no Flash now, for sure. We know the Xerath ping that Syndra used Flash. Okay. We have no ulti right now, so fighting is